Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Whiskey Wednesday Show with your hosts Ken Tizzard and Music for Goats. Brought to you in full color and stereo sound with amplification provided by Trainer. Broadcasting into the world from Storyhouse Studios in Campbellford, Ontario, you'll hear the best in old country, folk, Americana, punk rock, and 80s music delivered into your homes every week for free. And don't forget your regular dose of new and original songs from Music for Goats. Never be alone on a Wednesday night again, 8 p.m. Eastern and 9:30 for those of you in Newfoundland. Join the Whiskey Wednesday regulars on Facebook to be a part of the conversation, or watch on YouTube as well. Pour a drink, a cup of tea, or a nice cold long tooth. Roll up your best smoke and sit back and relax. Don't forget to hit the share button to help spread the word. The Whiskey Wednesday Show, every week. Cheers. Oh my, look at the people here already. This is exciting. Oh, I'm on the screen too. Look at me. Hi, how's everybody doing? What's going on tonight? Why are all these cameras here? Interesting turn of events. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the Whiskey Wednesday Show. I'm going to move this bottle of Lagavulin out of the way. Still working on this bottle of Lagavulin. Thank you very much to Eric over at Spiritleaf for sending that over. Wintertime is here. But here in Ontario, the weather is fantastic. It's unbelievable. What was it today? Like 32?
Oh, at least.
It was hot out today.
Celsius,
I think we did hit 15 though, didn't we?
17, I think. It was unseasonably warm.
Well, it's an unseasonably early spring, it seems like. Sabakat is drinking some Signal Hill whiskey tonight. Oh, doesn't that sound nice? Doesn't that sound nice? It's 80s night here on the Whiskey Wednesday Show. 80s night because we have Brian Shepard on the show. And Brian has gotten back together with some old friends of his and old friends of mine to revive the 80s music culture in St. John's, Newfoundland. So they had their first show a couple weeks back, and they've got another one coming up, which just went on sale, and I think it's like 70% sold out already. So big demand for what they're doing, and they're doing it well. So we're going to talk all about that tonight.
Also, half of us are in our 80s.
Oh, half of us are in our 80s. Well, see, there you go.
Almost.
Yeah, come on. Let's not stretch it too much, eh?
Let's not stretch it too much. So it's that cold has been going around. Everybody I know has it, which probably means that I've given it to everybody I know. But either way, it's been going around, and that's been fun. Allison's been sick the last week, and that's not fun at all. Hey, Jeannie, Steve, Diana. But everybody seems to be getting better now, except for you, Neil. You're getting worse again. Steve, Jeannie, Barry, MLM. Hey, how you doing, Justin? Joe. We got a great crowd here already. Any Newfoundlanders going to be tuning in tonight? Love to you back home. And we're going to dedicate tonight's set to music from the 80s, I guess. We got a whole interesting assortment of tunes here, including a video rewind, which it was an 80s video rewind. It was already planned. We were going to do Hole of the Moon by the Waterboys, and Carl Wallinger died this week, the singer for the Waterboys.
Really?
Yeah, singer, guitar player. So that's sad news. 66 years old, I believe.
Sure.
So we'll think about him this evening while we're playing as well, and you get to hear an older version of Hole of the Moon. But right now we're gonna take you back to some Tears for Fears. This goes out to Jeffrey Seymour if he's watching, and it goes just like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces, bright and early.
tomorrow. And I find it kind of funny, I find it kind of sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. I find it hard to tell, 'cause I find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very mad world. Mad world. Children waiting for the day they feel good. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Made to feel the way that every child should. Sit and listen, sit and listen. I went to school and I was very nervous. No one knew me, no one knew me. Hello teacher, tell me what's my lesson. Look right through me, look right through me. And I find it kind of funny, I find it kind of sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. I find it hard to tell you, 'cause I find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very mad world. Mad world. Mad world. Mad world.
There you go. A little Tears for Fears for you there. Mad world. Make a little patch change there. Get out of that Uber delay that I had set up for the U2 song. It's okay. It kind of worked for that one as well, you
Yeah,
know?
that sounded cool.
It kind of sound cool. It makes me think maybe I should use more delay. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? How are you tonight, Mr. Grant? What's going on?
I'm fine, fine.
What were you doing in the 80s, Mr. Grant? Where would you have been on, like, what month is it now? Where would you have been on, like, March 11th or whatever it is in 1986?
I'd have been, we'd have tapped all the maple trees down the lane. We'd be preparing to boil down for some maple syrup,
Very cool.
basically, this time of year.
How many gallons of maple syrup would you process?
Oh, man. We put them in liter jars. We'd get maybe 20 of them in a year.
Really?
Yeah, we do 2 boilings
Wow. How long does the boiling last?
all day. Get up early, boil all day.
Like all day and all night? Like 24 hours? or
Finish
like-
it in the house at night, but yeah,
Wow. I got to do that some year.
it's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard it's a great
The
time.
kids were little, you know, it was educational and sweet.
Sweet on many levels.
Yeah.
Do we do this next song in B or C? Boys Don't Cry.
I think it's C.
Perfect. So, hey, thanks there, Infernaldo. We're okay. Thanks for coming by to offer your help, but we're okay here. Brian Tench, nice to see you. Hang out there, Infernaldo, if you're cool. You know, did I see Clark Hancock here? Is here? Oh my God. Okay, Brian Shepherd is here with a big glass of bourbon. That's fantastic. That's so you. And it's Debbie Parsons' birthday, I hear. Okay, so okay, well, happy birthday, Debbie. I didn't know it was your birthday. God, how did I not know that? Wow. Clark, how you doing, brother? I'm nice to see you. Nice to see you tuning in. It is 80s night. We will see. We've got a lot of stuff to get through, but it is Debbie's birthday. But I think we played "Kiss an Angel" last week. But we'll see if we can get to it again. Maybe we'll tack it on the end of the show as a little birthday surprise for Debbie. So surprise. Anyways, Brian, sit back, enjoy your bourbon. You're going to be looking at yourself on the screen in about 4 minutes. We're going to do one more 80s tune first. Clark, oh my God, so nice to hear from you, my friend. I hope you're enjoying Thailand once again. I see your posts and I'm envious. The food looks pretty cool. Art Creed, nice to see you. This is a song from 1980. Sorry,
Something.
80 something. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
I would say I'm sorry if I thought that it would change your mind, but I know at this time I have said too much, been too unkind. I tried to laugh about it, cover it all up with lies. I tried to laugh about it, hiding the tears in my eyes, 'cause boys don't cry. Boys don't cry. I would break down at your feet and beg forgiveness, plead with you, but I know that this time there is nothing left that I can do. I tried to laugh about it, cover it all up with lies. I tried to laugh about it, hiding the tears in my eyes, 'cause boys don't cry. Boys don't cry. I would break down at your feet and beg forgiveness, plead with you, but I know that this time I have said too much, I've been too untrue. I took you for granted, I pushed you too far. I took you for granted, I thought you needed me more, more, more. Now I would do most anything to get you back by my side, but I just keep on laughing, hiding the tears in my eyes, 'cause boys don't cry. Boys don't cry. Boys don't cry. Boys don't cry.
Little boys don't cry there. Keeping it, I'm a big fan of The Cure, so I'm not going to lie about that. Yeah, it was gorgeous out today, Tony. No reason to go to Florida for sure. Patrick Hearn up Crow Lake, how you doing? Oh, it must be nice up there too. So we're going to jump right into this Brian thing, because he's a real interesting cat. Brian and I are old friends. You'll learn all about it. But one of the things that we were getting together to talk about the band, but we ended up having a massive conversation about his life in advertising as well. So in a couple of weeks, he's going to be back on the show again talking about his life in advertising. So 2 doses of Brian Shepherd this month there on the Whiskey Wednesday show. And Brian is sandwiching the announcement for next week, which I've been excited to hold on to. Is I had the chance to I had a chance to chat with interview. I don't know, it's weird because like most people that I have on the show, I kind of know in some form. Or anyways, this is somebody that I idolize in that he's made such a great contribution to the music scene. Joey Keithley, Joey Shithead from DOA, and he sat down and had a chat with me a couple weeks ago. So he's going to be on the show next week, and that's really exciting. What a weird interview for me though, like talking to somebody who I was like, I got so many cool questions, and I know that he's heard them all before. But anyways, it was a lot of fun. Without further ado,
without further ado, here is Brian Shepherd.
Sometimes you can't see that all you need. And it's the best time through the night. But it gonna take some time. And stop here tonight. Something you can't get what you want. Do you know what you want? So you can't get what you want. Do you know what you want?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Whiskey Wednesday show. Jack just came in for a little appearance. How you doing, buddy? It is Wednesday night. I imagine I can't remember what date it is because we are pre-recording this and it's now early March and this is happening sometime later. But we have a very special guest on the show tonight. He's a musician. He's a wordsmith and an advertising guy. He's one of my oldest school friends going back to high school and probably even before. Did you go to McDonald Drive? You did.
Yeah, we were in junior high together.
We were in junior high together. Wow.
Yeah.
So that's going back a long time. And his name is Brian Shepherd. And Brian is talking to us today from St. John's, Newfoundland. And we were just talking about how comforting it is to be home. And you were saying that it's like slipping into an old sock in the best possible way, I think is what you said.
Maybe not the best. Everybody in Newfoundland's gonna be like, you're calling the province a sock? No, it's real. I was just saying that it's just nice to kind of get back to a place. If you grew up here, and maybe it's the same everywhere, but I do think there's an extra kind of thing if you're from an island. You know, I've spent a lot of years away, and we've just moved back recently. Just reconnecting with people. It's shocking how much you just pick up after. I've bumped into people I haven't seen in 20 years, and they're like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" And it's like you saw them last week at the grocery store. And maybe that happens everywhere, but I've been kind of startled at how that familiarity comes back so quickly, you know, which is cool.
I think that is a Newfoundland thing. You know, I remember when I moved to Newfoundland, or when I moved away from Newfoundland, we did it at the same time. Actually, we shared our first apartments together.
That's right. That's right. Back in 1989, Ken.
Is that what it was? 89.
89.
798 Dundas Street West, above the Dory hairdresser.
Can I tell you a story about that before we move on?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
My sister Lori came to visit us. Lori's 3 years older than me. And so she came to visit us. And I was the first member of my family to move away to Ontario. Like everybody else stayed. And, you know, we were living, it was a rough spot. You know, it was a great being downtown, but it wasn't the greatest of apartments.
Right.
And she pulled me aside as she was leaving. And she said, "Don't ever let mom and dad come and visit you here." And I remember it was I think we each paid $260 a month, including utilities or something like that. You know?
Yeah, and I think that there was you had the back room.
Yep.
We had the middle room, and Janet Kiersey was downstairs.
That's right. That's right.
But we also had like people living in the laundry room for, you know, weeks at a time, and people living on the couch in the front room for weeks at a time. There was no shortage of newfies coming and going into that place.
No, it was a real education because living downtown, it was wonderful, you know. And as you know, Toronto's changed a lot, but the interesting thing about that neighborhood then, it was in a transition. It used to be the Portuguese part of town.
Yeah.
And it was becoming more of there's a lot of Vietnamese families moving in, Filipino families. Those shops were changing and stuff. So I don't know. I really, really loved living down there. That was super cool.
It was pretty great. You could go down to the Portuguese shops and get like a nice bun for 25 cents.
And then for lunch or for dinner, you could treat yourself to some $5 vermicelli dishes.
Oh,
You know, and they were the best. I mean, it was so,
amazing.
yeah, it was so good.
Perpetually broke, but great times.
Yes, and there was a hospital nearby, which I seem to remember we needed at one point. Didn't you cut your hand?
Yeah, we were walking. It's funny. I still got the scar. We were walking up the road, and one of us dropped the bottle, and we were taking the bottle like to throw it in the garbage. We weren't just leaving
Right.
it. And we're walking along, and I somehow slashed my hand. And I can remember going over to went over to there because I needed a stitch.
Yeah.
And you know, this was back in the people talk about, oh, the healthcare system's deteriorating. No, it was shitty 30 years ago too. And I can remember I'm in the waiting room. I think you were with me. I'm in the waiting room, and
Yeah.
the nurse comes over, and there's like 50 people in the waiting room. And she said, listen, she said, you're not going to see a doctor for like hours, but you need a stitch. How about I just stitch you up right here? And she kind of took out some lidocaine, took out some and sewed me up there in the waiting room. Right.
Wow.
So this whole the whole thing about everything's terrible now. No, it's always been like, you know,
yeah.
And,
There's just more of us to complain now.
yeah. So it's funny though.
Yeah, those were great times. Those were really fun. I remember that. I mean, coming from Newfoundland, you know, we didn't have much multiculturalism back home.
No.
And to be dumped in the middle of little Portugal and little was it mostly Korean at that time? No.
I think it was mostly Vietnamese.
Yeah, it was Vietnamese. You're
in
right.
that area,
Yeah.
right? And of course, we were right on the edge of Chinatown.
Yeah.
And I was going to art school, so I had to walk through Chinatown every day, which was amazing. Like, you know,
Incredible.
We sort of talk about, you know, culture being something that's existed for a really long time and everything else. But there was this kind of shifting. The cultures were shifting all the time up there, and you could almost see it every couple of years. Like there'd be a new group of folks who'd move into an area, and it just became amazing. So it was cool to be part of all of that.
So we grew up a little bit. Then we went off and became very, very successful in your field of advertising. I mean, it's your accolades. Look it up, Brian Shepherd. You'll find it all over Wikipedia and LinkedIn. You were a master of your craft. Now you're back home in Newfoundland, and it could be perceived as midlife crisis time. So you have the red car, you have the young girlfriend, or you start up your 80s high school university cover band.
I always joke that I had my midlife crisis when I was 14, you know, because I think people tend to be old souls from out here. No, you know what? I don't know if I don't look at it that way. But definitely, I don't know if it's because of the age that we're at or because of what we went through with COVID and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
I think that sparked across the entire population a little bit more introspection and kind of where we are and everything else. I think for me, what it caused me to do was just look up from everything for a minute and go, you've been doing this for 30 years. And I was lucky enough that I was so lucky. I've just had nothing but great agencies that I've worked with. Like it's really interesting, Ken, because I was back when I had told a few people, Kim and I had told some of our close friends that we were planning on moving back. So maybe this was end of 2022, early in 2023. And of course, one of my closest, dearest friends is Glenn Collins, who's an amazing guitar player and just one of the greatest guys, just a great guy. And Glenn and I played in a band back in the 80s, and Glenn is, you know, Glenn has he's been living in Newfoundland for a long time, and he's one of those guitarists that if a show comes through town and they need somebody to kind of jump into the pit and play, he's just like, he's so versatile. He's a great player. But we were talking, and he said, "Hey, do you want to, you know, get together and do some playing?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And then I was having a conversation with my friend Bruce Cooper, who I've known for years.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce is a great drummer, and
Awesome
he had been away as well. He had recently moved back to Newfoundland. He said, "Hey, you know, maybe we could get together and, you know." So anyway, we kind of just, the three of us started playing together, and then Peter Collins joined us as well. And Peter, great bass player, great vocalist,
unbelievable,
who Glenn and I used to play with in a band years ago. And and so we're just rehearsing, and it was Glenn who said this, which I love. He said, if we're going to do this, let's not get stupid about it, but let's take it seriously. Let's get together every week and pick off a song. Now these guys, they've been playing for years. Like all three of them have stayed in tune with their instruments. I haven't. And so the learning curve for me was steep, but the great thing about the kind of music that we're playing is it's not like I'm playing, Rachmaninoff, stuff. It's much more of, the great thing about 80s music to me is obviously you want the music to be right, but there's a certain feel to it. And a lot of that is keyboards and synthesizers and stuff. So it's trying just finding my way to kind of merge in with these guys as we break down these songs. And it has been the most fun, Ken. It has been just a screaming good time.
And the amazing thing is, you see the smile on your face there, Brian, at the end. You guys are having so much fun. So Glenn Collins and Peter Collins, they both played on the All Together Now record as well. I've known those guys forever. Well, I remember from the Parental Guidance days. And Bruce Cooper, the drummer, he was actually the BC in the ill-fated Chebcat Backpaw Band, which was a band. I think we played one gig. Helen Gregory did a poster for it, and it was defiled by Jerry at Kibitzers. It was embarrassing all around. But yeah, the band was CHEB, Cheb, Cat, K-A-T, B-A-C, P-A-W. And it was for the people in the band. Cheb was Clark Hancock, and Bob Earl was playing keyboards. Back was Bruce Cooper. Paul was Phil Winters. Cheb, Cat was Ken Tizzard, yeah. So that was the five of us in the band. I stole that from my mom's ceramic studio idea. She had a ceramic studio called Kappa-Craft, which was all the kids' names, Ken, Christine, and Paula Craft. I was forming one of my first bands, and I thought, yeah, Cheb Cat Backpaw, that makes sense. Didn't really make sense.
Still doesn't.
Oh, you just need to know, though. You just need to know.
I know.
It was a different time and place then, Neil. It was a different time and place.
Certainly was. I had hair, I think.
Kibitzers, that's a
that
deep
long
cut
ago?
there. That was where, Brian, that was where we had our gig, was at Kibitzers, and Helen Gregory, this brilliant artist that we knew growing up, we still know her, and she's now like she curates some, she's in the Ottawa, at the big museum out there. She's I don't know, she does all kinds of incredible stuff. I don't understand it, but her and I, she's one of my earliest friends. I remember spending a fall day, like one of my earliest memories as a kid was hanging out with her, spending a fall day, and we were picking all the curled up leaves, because you'd roll the leaves out off the trees and there'd be caterpillars in them.
Oh, yeah.
And we spent the whole day doing that. That's one of my earliest childhood memories, is hanging out with Helen Gregory doing that. But yeah, so she had done the poster for Cheb Cat Backpaw, and she did this beautiful sort of hand-drawn poster of this cat walking away with this big fluffy tail, and his back paw was in the air, and it said Cheb Cat Backpaw. And the place we were playing, the owner, Jerry, went around with a black a black and a red marker and put a big anus on the back, because it was this cat walking away with a big tail in the air and the legs. He put this big black anus with a red ring around it on all the posters. And it's just like, oh my God, this is gonna be a great show.
Very attractive, yeah.
Never know what's gonna come out here. It is the 80s, but this one goes out to Jeannie. She always asks for this one. If you twist and turn away, if you tear yourself into again, if I could, you know I would. If I could, I would let it go. Surrender, dislocate. If I could throw this lifeless lifeline to the wind, leave this heart of clay, see you walk away into the night and through the day. If I could, through myself, break your spirit free, I'd lead your heart away, see you break away into the night and through the day. Into the half-light and through the flame. Ooh, 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 to let it go, and so to fade away, to let it go, and so to fade away. I'm wide awake, I'm wide awake, I'm wide awake, I'm not sleeping. There you go, a little U2 from the 80s. Oh, hey, Charmaine, how you doing? Lovely to see you. I hope you're all doing well next door this evening. Barry, I do believe it is that time.
Which one?
No, maybe not.
No, I don't know what you're doing. Sir Brian. Oh, no. Sorry,
Yeah,
that's-
we
Jeez,
just
man, I'm
did
losing
bad.
my
It's
back.
okay. Barry's got new glasses.
Hey folks, thanks for tuning in to the Whiskey Wednesday show. Every Wednesday we will be here, rain or shine, richer or poorer. Tip jar is in the link above. Never expected but always appreciated. Never confuse the size of your paycheck with the size of your talent. I've got all the money I'll ever need if I die by midnight. Always appreciated, never expected. Please feel free to drop us a line regarding anything, including a link to your money. Cheers.
Are we back there, Barry? Yes, sir. Excellent. Just tuning. You caught me tuning, ladies and gentlemen. It's amazing how much tuning is involved in these things. I gotta say, I have so much respect for the guitar techs who I worked with for years. They would pass me instruments that were perfectly in tune, one after the other. It was a brilliant, brilliant time of life. See, these are all the things that... These are all the little adjustments that were done to you. People don't realize. Guitar tech sitting on the side of the stage with all of the guitar players' pedals, turning them on and off for them. Like, it's what happens. It doesn't always look like it, but believe me. Oh man, that was so much fun talking to Brian and seeing those guys play. It was just incredible, just incredible. You know what else was incredible? Earlier this week we played the Monday nights again, and again another great night, full house there. We had some visitors come up and join us. Barry, I think we have a picture maybe?
There it is.
Oh, look at that. Richard and Tony with the band in the hallway outside of Capers. Yes, it was great. They did the drive up from the Burlington area, and he's got the Spirit Leaf hat on too. We visited next door. Good for them. Yes. It was a really nice time. It was great to have people out, and I mean, it's always great to have people out, but it's great to have sort of longtime friends from the internet taking a drive to see you in person is awfully cool. So we had a great time hanging out. We played music. We took requests from them, and we had some food, and we hung out, and yeah, it was a great time. Thanks for making the drive there, guys. Really appreciate that. We're gonna do one more song. We're gonna go back to Brian Shepherd Part 2. Oh, this one is so weird. Okay, in the theme of the 80s, again, like this is really outside of our wheelhouse when we sort of pick a theme like this, and with everything that's going on, time is limited in our worlds, and trying to put together like, oh, let's do a bunch of 80s songs. It's trying at best, but I'm pretty happy. I'm a little worried about this one, to be perfectly honest.
But
Just because we just tried it in rehearsal and I kept fucking it up. You guys know it. So let's just see where this one takes us. This is a song by Modern English. A song called Melt With You. And it goes like this. One, two, 3. Hold up.
What's wrong?
Let's check the tunings here, guys. I think I'm out of tune. This guitar is not.
It's possible that it's me.
Okay, well, let's just get it fixed, whoever it is. I just gave that great speech about guitar techs. See, this never happens when Brian Murphy is tuning your guitars for your Tim Sheffield or Dan Thomas. Okay, now that we've ruined the surprise, forever immortalized in the internet, that's okay, I'll go through tomorrow and cut this little part out. This is a song by Modern English. The beauty of television, ladies and gentlemen, the beauty of television. It's called Melt With You. It goes like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Moving forward, using all my breath. Making love to you was never second best. I saw the world thrashing all around your face, never really knowing it was always mesh and lace. I'll stop the world and melt with you.
better lives, the kind which never hate, wrapped in a state of imaginary grace. I made a pilgrimage to save this human's race, never really knowing it was always long gone by. I'll stop the world and melt with you. You've seen the difference and it's getting better all the time. There's nothing you and I won't do. I'll stop the world and melt with you. I'll stop the world and melt with you. You've seen the difference and it's getting better all the time. There's nothing you and I won't do. I'll stop the world and melt with you. The future's open wide. I'll stop the world and melt with you. You've seen the difference and it's getting better all the time. There's nothing you and I won't do. I'll stop the world and melt with you. I'll stop the world, I'll stop the world and melt with you. I'll stop the world. You've seen the difference and it's getting better all the time. There's nothing you and I won't do. Oh, I'll stop the world and melt with you.
There you go. A Music for Goats version of Melt With You. Played,
Oh, man, that was
played
fun.
maybe once a year. That's good. We'll put that one on. We'll rehearse that one again in 364 days before the next 80s show.
Good plan.
Oh my, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into Brian Shepherd Part 2. This is fantastic. I'm loving chatting with Brian. I'm loving seeing some newfies here too. Hello, Lynn Scott. Fantastic. I hope you're enjoying my little monkey videos that I'm sending you. Did you see the one, Lynn? Did I send you the one where the cat gets eaten by the vacuum cleaner or the kitten? It's really cute. It's really cute. Anyways, here's some more with Brian Shepherd right now here on the Whiskey Wednesday show.
So in the 80s, the band was Parental Guidance, and it was you and Peter, Glenn,
And Eric Bailey.
and my sister played keyboards.
That's right, Paula. That's right. Paula played with us as well. Yeah.
So there was, and then you had Steve and Tommy doing lights and sound. Is that who it was?
Steve Ryan was our sound guy at Freddy's, which was amazing. And Tommy Dunphy did lights for us. Jeff Seymour used to come and do lights for us as well.
Yeah.
And I know you were on the road with us.
Yeah.
You were on the road with us a bunch of times as well.
It was
what was
fun.
really interesting about that time was that, and I never realized how lucky I was. When I started playing with those guys, I think I was 16.
Yep.
And I met Glenn through another band, and he said, "Hey, why don't you come down and rehearse? We've got this band. We rehearsed the Cornerstone, and the Cornerstone was this incredible club in St. John's. Like it was a dance bar, but it had a stage and it had real sound and real lights and all those kinds of things.
With fog machines and everything.
All that. And I'm like, you guys rehearsed there? And so I met these guys, and same thing. I'm 3 great players, and I'm like, I just happen to be the kid with a synthesizer. And but you know, we started playing together, and it kind of came together. We had another keyboardist for a while, a guy named Skip Michelson, who was an older guy. He was in his 30s at the time, but he was a great player. I learned a ton from him. But what was so nice about being connected with Steve and the guys at Freddie's were, like, you know, and Steve said, this is a business for me. You guys, like, we're going to be out playing shows a couple of times a month. They would rent us the PA systems, rent us the lighting rigs. But, you know, it was kind of nice to have some adults around looking after you when you're going out, you know, to Marystown to play a show or wherever. And that was a great few years. We had a ton of fun, played a ton of shows. And what's interesting for me now is when we were doing that, we were the same thing, 80s cover band, right? But it was the 80s, so we were just a cover band. Is you're playing music off the radio and stuff that you hear and stuff that you like, and it's current.
Yeah.
The thing that's so interesting now, Ken, is that when we're choosing songs, we're kind of reintroducing them in a weird way. Like, obviously there's songs that everybody hears, but when you pick out a weird Echo and the Bunnymen track or a weird XTC track and you start playing, it's like, oh God, I haven't heard that in years.
Yeah.
And we played our first show a few weeks ago, and it was phenomenal, amazing show. And you know, that's one of the things that I heard from so many people after the show. It's like, oh, I can't believe you played Do It Clean. You know, I can't believe you played Generals and Majors or whatever. And I think that that's kind of the thing that's interesting now is back in the old days, people would come because they just wanted to hear the music that was on the radio, because there was so little live music in Newfoundland at the time, aside from local bands. But now I think part of the thing is almost curating music from that era in an interesting way, and letting there be a moment, like when you're playing a show for 3 hours, that's what you're going to get. You're going to come here and you're going to hear this. Yeah. And if you're down with that, come and get totally into it. If you're not, there's something else for you. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that's excited all of us as we've been doing this, is rediscovering it. And I had no idea how that first show would go. It was great. I didn't know what the reaction would be. There's a lot of folks who still really love this music, and we're not trying to do it like a nostalgia oldies thing at all. It's just, here it is, you know? Yeah.
Great 80s band is the weirdest and most fabulous thing to discover. When we were down in Seattle in 95 or 96, we were there for 2 months while we were recording a record. And I found this club on Tuesday nights. I can't remember the name of the band, but on Tuesday nights, they had an 80s band. And it was all the repertoire that you guys did, you know, back in the parental guidance days. And I ended off stumbling in there one night, and the room is jammed. It's just jammed, and everybody's having a great time listening to 80s music. And, you know, and they had, you know, the G707 guitars out, you know, the synth guitars, the whole thing. It was just like, this was, and that was in 96. And I have yet to see that again anywhere else that well done. Yeah. You know, great bands out there like Dwayne Gretzky and stuff that are doing amazing covers, and they do a few from the 80s, but they're doing, you know, just all the hits worldwide and over the years. but to be focused on that time and place was really cool. So I was really excited to hear that you guys were doing this again. And
Yeah.
is the repertoire much the same?
No, and Bruce, he played in a great band called the Dervishes, which were one of the first kind of, bands in Newfoundland that did, outside the punk scene, that did kind of alternative music. So between the four of us, we've covered a lot of songs over the years. There are probably a half dozen songs that we've all played, in our various bands, but most of it is kind of digging back and going, okay, we would never have tried to play this 30 years ago. But what if we tried that? And like a song like Cry by Godley and Creme, like I've never heard that covered in live. Certainly there have been bands that have done it. There have been recordings of it, but it's technically a hard song. It's a weird song to play, but it's also a real pleasure to kind of break that down and sort of get inside of it. And I think that's one of the things we're finding too is, I find this, I can't speak for the rest of the guys. I'll be sitting down, breaking down parts and hearing things that I've never heard before. I've heard these songs 1,000 times, but then you'll hear this, oh, that's what's going on in the weird background of that. So I don't want to make it all intellectual, but there's a bit of that exercise as well. And, that's a personal thing. I just love this music so much that if I can start seeing other sides of it, all the better.
Yes.
But yeah, no, repertoire wise, we're trying to keep it, we want people dancing and having a great time, but we also don't want it to be, it's not all top 40, so there's some Smith songs, there's Joe Jackson, there's, a wide variety of what I would call kind of the cooler artists of the 80s, and which has been fantastic.
You're still doing the Blue Peter tune?
No, we talked about it.
Oh no.
No, we talked about it. And we used to play that a ton. And it's just one of those ones for me. It's like, and I love that band. Like they are incredible band.
It was a big hit though. Yeah, it was a big hit though. It's a bit of
and I'm not afraid of that so much as it was just played it so many times. Like I think we ended every show with that, back in the day. And so I think it's kind of let that one kind of be where it was. I had a funny, we were talking about that song and I'd never seen the video for it and I'd never heard it on the radio. But back in 1984, when the Police, when Synchronicity came out, great Police album, they played a show at Le Spectrum in Montreal, and Blue Peter opened for them, and it was hosted on First Choice Super Channel, like on the pay TV channel. So I remember my sister was a huge Police fan, so we watched it, and I recorded it, and I'd never heard of this band before, but I can remember having that tape and listening to it, and a couple of years later, when I got into a band, going, "Hey, what about this?" And we played a few songs by those guys. They were a great band. They were just a great.
Yeah. Spoons? Doing any spoons?
No spoons. I know. We're gonna have to.
I'm looking for Canadian content here.
Well, it's hard. I tell you, I think again, part of the thing that we're trying to do is kind of just find out what's new for us as well. Like there's some songs that we just, obviously that we've done in the past, but part of it is, and what we actually did, which was great. You're going through, you're trying to build up 30 or 35 songs, right? Because you want to have 3 hours of music. And earlier the year, what we did was, you sit around in your band meetings, you go, what about this? What about this? Oh, I'd love to do that. Sure. And what we did was we said, okay, let's do a thing where each of us names 3 songs and there's no veto. We just got to pick 3 songs you're passionate about. Let's go do them. And that was a ton of fun because there's no, well, I don't really want to do that. No, that's not the deal. And some, actually, we didn't do all of them, but some really great songs came out of that too, because again, you've kind of got your own pet sounds from, and idiosyncratic things you've always wanted to do, but you could never get another band to do with you. Right. So, but
that's very cool. And it's good to acknowledge, the fact that Parental Guidance had and Parental Guidance was an 80s band, but this isn't Parental Guidance Part 2.
No way.
Different 80s
100%.
band, and you're doing different 80s tunes, and you're doing it from a different place in life, which is really cool.
100%. And that's kind of, I mean, that was its own thing at that time.
Right.
And it was, again, it was reflective of what was happening then. We were just trying to be like what was on the radio that you could never see live. So that was one sort of thing. Whereas I think this is, and I loved that. It was an amazing time. I think we're just, this time around, we're like, okay, what can we bring people that they maybe haven't experienced in a long time?
Right.
And I, again, playing some of those songs live, and you roll from one song to the next, and there's people on the dance floor, and you start in a song and they're like, oh my God, I have not heard that since 1986.
Yeah.
And which is cool. And
That's fantastic.
and that's sort of the trick. And it, as time goes on, as you keep, there'll be some songs that will retire and we'll bring some new ones forward. That's going to be the kind of ongoing trick about how do you find stuff that is accessible, but it's just off kilter enough. People go, who was that again? And that's sort of the thing we're trying to do.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I did have some sort of ideas I was going to throw at you in case you hadn't considered stuff.
Hit me.
Anything from this album?
That's Look Sharp, right?
Yeah.
What are the singles off of that?
Oh, it's got Every Time, One More Time, Sunday
More
Papers. Time. Is she really going out with him? Happy.
We do Sunday Papers.
You do Sunday Papers?
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. And, great album.
Have you ever seen him live?
No, I've seen some footage of him live, but I've never seen him live.
Kim and I saw him at Massey Hall. Oh God, almost 20 years, maybe over 20 years ago. He was doing an anniversary tour of the Night and Day album.
Yeah.
And he had most of the original band from those sessions out with him. And he was incredible. And I've always admired him because, he's a great singer. He's an incredible keyboardist.
Yep.
He's a great songwriter. He's just a great songwriter.
He is.
And he moved around. Like, that album is very different than Night and Day. And right? Night and Day is completely different than Body and Soul.
Yeah.
So or I'm the Man, right?
He is constantly in evolution.
Yeah, and he's still recording too, so which is amazing. But I'd like to do One More Time. Like, One More Time to me is the classic. That's the classic encore song, right?
It's a perfect 80s bar song. It's just like everybody's drunk at the end of the night. It's something you can sing along with. It's fast. It's catchy. Everybody kind of knows it, but they're not sick of it. It is
right.
You're right.
We've sort of had some conversations too about what 80s music is, because I think if you didn't grow up in that era, if you don't look at it, it's kind of all one thing. It's all like, it's going to all be, Culture Club or et cetera. But, there's new wave, but the beginnings of grunge were beginning to happen at the end of the 80s. You had the Manchester, you had the Happy Mondays and the Stone Roses at the end of the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
The beginning of the 80s, like, that's not new. Joe Jackson's not new wave. He's kind of post-punk.
Yeah, it's like late 70s, I think, even.
Yeah. So we play some Cars songs.
Yeah, 79.
Yeah. The two best Cars records were the first two. They came out in like 78 and 79. So that's the other thing too, is it's hard. You got to be careful not to kind of define it as new wave or et cetera. We just call it, it's just great music from that decade.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty.
What else you got there?
Okay, let's try this one.
So good. So that's probably my favorite Cure album.
It's my favorite too. Yeah.
Right. And we do some Cure songs. I don't think we do anything off that. So many good songs on that.
I know.
On that album.
The whole record from start to finish is just a perfect mix.
Yeah. Many years ago, we used to do Close to Me.
Yeah.
And is In Between Days is on that as well, right?
In Between Days, yeah. Close to Me. Other than that, like there's no other big singles on it. 6 Different Ways and Screw and stuff like that. They're kind of B-side songs, anyways.
Yeah, I think you got to be a bit of a fan. But God, how we wore that record out.
Yeah, that's not my first copy of that one.
Good.
Okay, how about this one?
Bad Habits. Yeah. So there's two Monks albums.
Yeah.
There's Bad Habits and there's Suspended Animation. And we had Suspended Animation, which didn't have any of the singles on it, right? But it's a great. The cool thing about that, we don't do any Monks, because that's got like Drugs in My Pocket and Bad Habits are on that album.
Yeah.
The thing about Suspended Animation was every song sounded like a different band.
Yeah.
Every song on that record, in one they sounded like the Knack, and then in another song they sounded like the Police, and then in another song they sounded so. And interesting, because that's a band that kind of disappeared from the collective consciousness, which is a shame.
Well, they didn't have any success. I mean, they have a bit more success in Canada than they did in England.
God, that's incredible. Because I mean, both those records were. I remember both those records got played a lot in our kind of cohort of people. So
absolutely. Well, I don't know if you've ever dug into the story, but the Monks were actually a very successful UK pop band called the Trogs.
Okay. The Trogs, yeah.
The Trogs. And the Trogs decided to do something a little different outside of the pop world. And they created these songs for the Bad Habits record. And they couldn't get it released in England, so they had to go through a French label.
Okay. And
there's stories that the band wasn't even called the Monks. It was called something else, but it got lost in translation when going from English to the French press, and it came out.
Right.
So there's a whole story behind that. But apparently the people in England were like, well, no, this is a pop band. We're not going to buy this shit like this. Like they knew. They felt right through it. So they never had success over there.
They were weirdly subversive albums because they were funny. I mean, you've got like a sexy nun on the front. So there's that raises eyebrows. But I mean, there's songs like Skylab.
Oh, I know.
Just the guy saying Skylab.
It's wacky. And I know. And they say it's a theme song from the Monks. So I don't know if there's a story behind that too either. The whole thing, I mean, I love it. It's a lot of fun, but it seems really, really sort of really concocted, you know. But that's the beauty of it too. What else did I have here?
This is so much fun, man.
Thanks. I'm having a blast too. Now I know this is a tough one because it's a female singer, but
yeah, Brass in Pocket's just such a great song, right?
Yeah,
it's just such a great song. And who was the guitarist? Was it Honeyman Scott?
Yeah, James Honeyman Scott. Look at you go, eh?
Right. No, well, because I mean, he was a huge influence. If he's the guitarist for that band always gets, and then unfortunately he passed away really young. He died really young. He gets cited by the next generation of great British guitarists, like Johnny Marr and those kinds of guys, because he had that kind of beautiful, clean, I don't want to call it jangly sound, but you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
Super. Yeah. It was kind of super rhythmic, but had a lead feel as well.
Yeah.
And I love that. Like I remember when that record came out, that Brass in Pocket was on all the time. And the other cool thing about growing up in Newfoundland too is you had NTV, which was if you're not from Newfoundland, you might not know as much, but that's it was the CTV affiliate in Newfoundland, but it was more than that. It was kind of like Newfoundland's broadcaster, and they used to play videos before anybody else played videos.
Yeah.
So I can remember seeing the video for that maybe in what is that from 1980 or 81? That record.
Brass in Pocket is 79.
79. So yeah. We would have been watching those videos like in 1980, kind of before videos really, really blew up. But I just remember that album. That was a great record.
So nice to have Brian hanging out on the show. Actually just hanging out in my living room for a virtual visit there on Monday morning, I think it was.
Echo.
Yeah, on my way there. There we go. Run a little slow tonight. It's one of those funny nights. It's the combination of alcohol and sort of cold meds, and marijuana. Sometimes it's when you get a cold, you just don't feel quite good, so you take some healthy stuff. Dave Brown, Love the Monks. Oh my God, yeah, I'm with you on that, man. That album gets. I bought a copy for my daughter. I picked up a copy for you, I think, at one point in time. Or did you order one?
Or I got one. It's my grandsons, it's one of his absolute favorite
Oh yeah,
records.
it's always,
He
that makes
loves
sense
it.
actually. I
Yeah,
can see
yeah.
how you love that.
Yeah, of course.
We're gonna do another '80s tune here, man. Thank you, Brian, for being on the show. And I'll post some info over the next little while. They have another show coming up, and it'll be their last show until the fall, when they'll be back with a whole new set of tunes and stuff. It's at the Bella Vista, or as those of us around my age remember, the Stanley Steamer. That was the place to go on the weekend, the Stanley Steamer. Oh, what a room. Anyways, thanks again, Brian, and best of luck with the record club. Or it's just record club. I noticed there's no the, of course. It's very, very crafty. And in a couple of weeks, we will be talking to Brian about exactly that. His work in advertising has been amazing, amazing, amazing. I was 21 years when I wrote this song. I'm 22 now, but it won't be for long. People ask me, when will you grow up to be a man? But all the girls I loved at school are already pushing prams. I loved you now as I loved you still. Oh, they put you on a pedestal, they put you on a pill. I can't feel bad about letting you know. I just feel bad about letting you go. I don't want to change the world. I'm not looking for New England. I'm just looking for another girl. I don't want to change the world. I'm not looking for New England. I'm just looking for another girl. I love the words you wrote to me, but that was bloody yesterday. I can't get by on what you sent every time you need a friend. I saw 2 shooting stars last night. I wished on them, but they were only satellites. Is it wrong to wish on space hardware? I wish you'd care. I don't want to change the world. I'm not looking for New England. I'm just looking for another girl. I don't want to change the world. I'm not looking for New England. Just looking for another girl. I'm looking for another girl. I'm looking for another girl. I'm looking for another girl. A little Billy Bragg for you there, ladies and gentlemen. Nicely done, boys. That's fun. Another one that we don't do near enough. Don't do near enough. I hope you're all having fun out there tonight. Yes, Jennifer, that was thank you. That was a fun interview tonight. I agree. And yes, always some love there for Brian going around. I agree. So nice. And oh, Brian, so great chatting with you. Well, Brian, one of these times we will be in the same physical fucking proximity, and we will tell tons of stories and have so much fun. And I look forward to that happening again. Now that you're home, it makes it easier because I'm there usually once a year. So I think it'll probably be the fall if we make it down this year. Got the record coming out in April. Yeah, 6 months after the record comes out. That seems perfect. We'll have a second release, the Newfoundland version. We got one more song for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This one is always weird. This one is always weird. But before we do this last song, I want to talk about a show happening this weekend at the Legion with the Blue Eyed Dogs and the Janet Jeffrey Band and us. I believe we have a picture. A Night for Dawson. Yeah, it's a benefit. Dawson has got some news recently, which is pretty hardcore, and he's got a big fight ahead of him. Everybody loves him. He's a young kid around town, you know, sort of Don. Don is a friend of the band and mine for years, and it's really sad to see this happening, but hopefully we can help to make things a little bit better by getting together as a community this Saturday night, and it's going to be a really great night of celebration. So thanks for including us with that. And,
Lots of food and a silent auction.
lots
so
of
I hear.
tons of food. They've got 2 people cooking, and yeah, Dorset is one of them.
Oh, good.
And yeah, and a silent auction. They've got stuff from everybody in town. Yeah, it's
I
gonna-
can't wait to see what it is.
It's going to be a crazy
What's
night.
going for sale?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, so that's happening. I also wanted to. Which camera is working right now? Is it this one? Look at these. See if it'll focus. There you go. A little Esox Hunter, David Lawrence. You know, screenshot that. If I turn it around, it might blow up the world because there's a QR code on it, and I don't know what happens if it goes into a live stream. Suddenly, it's just like live stream gets whatever this QR code goes to. But that's hey camera, I'm over here. There I am. Just takes a minute to find me again. God, these cameras are pretty damn good. Anyways, we're gonna end with this tonight. Yeah, go check out Esox Hunter at Esox Hunter. Just type it into your computer and it'll all show up. David will set you up with lures. He's also guiding some fishing tours, doing all kinds of stuff. And before we go, there's one more image I wanted to show. This one is really kind of cool. It's the album cover. Finally got the front cover and the back cover all done as one piece, of course. So it'll be the front of the vinyl and the back of the vinyl. Yeah. Very happy with that. Very happy with that. It's very blue now that I look at it on the TV. I don't know. I kind of get it. I kind of get it. I picked the color of the vinyl today, and it is a surprise. Black is my favorite color. Black is my favorite color. Deception is an art form. Joe Murray, if you'd like to contribute to the fundraiser, well, just PM me and tell me what you'd like to contribute, and I'll take care of it, and then we'll square it up between the two of you, unless you're looking for a tax receipt, in which case I can get it made out for you, perhaps. But I have no idea the legal tax information they have to take into consideration at the auction at the Legion. Next week we have Joey Shithead from DOA. I can't begin to say how excited I was to talk to him and how excited I am to. Actually, I'm terrified to look at it. I'm terrified to look at the footage. I feel like I was a bumbling idiot at times. You know, when you're talking to somebody who's like, you know, you're asking them something about their life that they know so well because they lived it and everybody's ever asked them, and you're still like, you're there going, so tell me the story about. You know what I mean? No? Awesome.
I strut my stuff, I am so strung out. If I'm high as a kite, I just might stop to check you out. Let me go out like a blister in the sun. Let me go out, big hands, you know you're wrong. Body beats, I stain my sheets, I don't even know why. My girlfriend, she's at the end, she is starting to cry. Let me go out like a blister in the sun. Let me go out, yeah, I know you're wrong. When I'm walking, I strut my stuff. I am so strung out. If I'm high as a kite, I just might stop to check you out. Body and beats, I stain my sheets. I don't even know why. My girlfriend, she's at the end. She has started to cry. When I'm walking, I strut my stuff. I am so strung out. If I'm high as a kite, I just might stop to check you out. Body beats, I stain my sheets. I don't even know why. My girlfriend, she's at the end. She is starting to cry. Let me go out like a blister in the sun. Let me go out. Big hands, you know you're one. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Little Violent Femmes from, that might even be earlier than the 80s, that one. Might be late 70s. No, that's 80s. That's 80s. Yeah. My mistake there. Also, I said the Trogs? I can't believe I said that. I meant to say the Strawbs, of course.
There you go.
That's so weird. I do these interviews when I'm really high, and I often get things like that confused. Oh, my.
Two British pop bands that kind of look similar from this far away.
Look the story up, fact check your own information. Nothing said on the Whiskey Wednesday show is actually documented as educational or correct. That being said, it is entertaining for me. Is it entertaining for you, Mr. Neal?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. How was your week, sir?
My week was absolutely dandy.
What did you do?
Let me see now. I used a lot of Kleenex.
Okay, yeah. Your nose was running again?
It was, yes, it was running. I'm telling you, it was running like Roger Bannister.
You're going deep there, buddy.
Oh, sorry. He was the first man to break the 4-minute mile.
Oh, he was a fast runner.
Yeah.
Your nose was running fast. Barry, things good over your way, brother?
Things are good, man.
Excellent. David, you're about to get out fishing, or you've been out doing a little bit?
I was out there yesterday.
You were out there yesterday.
Yeah.
Good for you. Fish biting yet?
Not yet, but I just received word today that they are spawning in the river. The pike are spawning, so
Okay, well, they'll be hungry.
any day now.
That's good.
Yep.
Good. Mr. Grant,
Yeah.
you got 2 gigs this Saturday night.
I do.
Yeah.
Janet Jeffrey Band and us.
Twice at one gig.
Twice at one gig.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it works out that you're on stage without a break. But, well, we've all been there.
Yeah, that's fun.
It's a good job for a bass player,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
You get to be a part of this big crowd of people, but you get to be separated from them all.
And variety.
For most
hey.
of the night.
It's
There
like,
you go.
It's
Yeah.
like the spice of life.
Apparently.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope everybody is good out there. If you haven't found the goat yet, it was here all along.
Ron found it.
Ron found it. Okay, of course, Ron found it. Next week, again, Joey Shithead from DOA. Thank you all very much. Thanks, guys, for being here. And remember to be like Steve. Cheers.
And of course, there's the video rewind coming up, which is really cool as well. Be like Steve. Anyways, Tom was a massive fan of this band. I pictured a rainbow. You held it in your hands. I saw flashes. You saw the plan. I wandered out in the world for years. You just stayed in your room. I saw the crescent. You saw the whole of the moon, the whole of the moon. You were there in the turnstile with the wind at your heels. You stretched to the stars, and you know how it feels to reach too high, too far, too soon. You saw the whole of the moon. I was grounded. You filled the skies. I was dumbfounded by truth. You cut through lies. I saw the rain, dirty valley. You saw Brigadoon. I saw the crescent. You saw the whole of the moon. I spoke about wings. You just flew. I wondered, I guessed, and I tried. You just knew. I sighed, but you swooned. I saw the crescent. You saw the whole of the moon, the whole of the moon. Hell yeah!
Here we go. Verse.
Unicorns and callous balls, palaces and piers, trumpets, towers, tenements, oceans full of fears, flags, rags, ferry boats, scimitars and scars, every precious dream and vision underneath the stars. Yes, you climbed on the ladder with the wind in your sails. You came like a comet, blazing your trail. Too high, too far, too soon. You saw the whole of the moon, the whole of the moon. Here you go, boys. Song from the Water Boys. That one actually.
Once again, thanks for spending another Wednesday with us here at Storyhouse Studios. Thanks to Trainer, Yorkville, and a Longtooth Beverage Company for being a part of the show. We love our time on the Whiskey Wednesday show and appreciate all of your support. Don't forget to hit up the tip jar if you feel so inclined. Never expected, but always appreciated. Tune in every week for more guests, songs, stories, drinks, and gear talk. And don't forget to visit the website, www.kentizzard.com, to sign up for the Whiskey Wednesday wrap-up. Compiled by Allison, this is a monthly overview with highlights, directories of songs, and so much more. Be kind, be helpful, be happy, be safe. See you next week.
The seal on a Jim Beam cannon.